now that relegation's confirmed, are you going to do anything differently? Maybe take a few more risks, or put a few players forward who need a bit more progression and growth?
Yes, I might look to change it. Whatever the tactical setup that goes in the opposition, what I think's the right setup, doesn't matter what time of season it is. I'll not be playing 10 centre forwards. Is that what you're talking about? So no, we'll play what we think's right, as I've always do every single game that we go into, and hopefully it's the right setup.
And I suppose you must have sort of one eye on seeing this season out and the other eye on what's going to happen next season in terms of contracts and new players. Is there anything else you can tell us a little bit about what you're looking at, or give us any kind of previews of players you're looking at?
Well, we have started the process because we hired a chief scout 3 weeks ago. So he is ongoing with getting to games and identifying the talent that we're looking for. So we're down the road with that a little bit. But of course, the season's still alive for a lot of the clubs. We're still playing games, so I've still got to train the players. We're still got to stay focused. We're still going to try and win some games. We're going to try and keep the players motivated because, as you said, we're relegated now. You've got guys that are on loan. You've got guys that are out of contract. So it can be tough at times to keep everybody, pushing in the one direction to try and get results for the club. But that's my job to do that. But obviously, the chief scout coming in is a big help to us. It's late in the season, but we can still get out to games. So we're trying to do that. It's ongoing.
And would you like to see more players with longer term contracts so you can build a bit of I don't know, a bit more of that what you mentioned, a bit more motivation and feel like they've got a bit more of a purpose, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, whatever the club decides on that one is doing to the club finances and what they see the direction totally in. But of course, that would be, if we've got good players, we recruit good players. We want them on a good contract. But of course, that'll all do to the club and how we see things and the finances, etc., etc.
Yeah, absolutely. And just going back to the game, has there been any injuries or knocks or any players that won't be featuring tomorrow?
Yeah, Kyle's pulled up a groin, which he come off after 20 odd minutes, so he'll be out for 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe get him back, maybe just get him back for the last game. Maybe doesn't look too serious, but he'll be out for a couple of weeks at least. Corey will come back in. Corey O'Keefe will come back in. He was injured for the last game. He had a rib injury, so it's been ongoing really with injuries and suspensions, etc. But you just got to go on with it. I've not spoken about that too much, but I don't think many other people speak about it. But we have had a lot of injuries, a lot of suspensions, things like that. So it's tough. It's tough. It's been tough for us the last 3 or 4 months.
It must make an impact on building a team that gels when you've got injuries and suspensions like that.
It does. It does, because obviously we brought in, a couple of loan players came in, had to go back to their parent club. They were shaping up quite well. They had to go back. So, we got Ben Stevenson injured out for long-term, Charlie McCann out long-term, and others. So there's been 4 or 5 starters out my team when I originally came, which doesn't help the situation. But I think generally the team have done really well. We've just not quite got the results. But even on Saturday, it seems crazy. We had 60% possession, but we didn't convert the chances, and of course we need to defend the set plays better than what we're doing. We continue ongoing work on that. Hopefully we'll be a bit better tomorrow night.
And you mentioned the set plays, of course. You mentioned, I think, in the post-match interview that the players were too soft, not aggressive enough. Is that something that you have to wait for them to develop as they kind of get games under their belt, or is that something that you can push in your coaching?
Well, we'll have to be aggressive, definitely. We'll have to be aggressive in the duels, stronger. Every player has to be strong in the duels and be aggressive. Of course, you're coaching, you try to get the messages across. We've got a lot of young players as well, so it's a learning experience for them. Coming in up against big players. Their manager selects a big team because he knows he's playing against a small team. Speaking to them after the match, their selection was down to height. So that's their tactical plan, which is it's a good plan because they can see maybe a weakness in their setup. But to be fair, the players have really fought hard for me. They've worked really hard for me. They've covered every blade of grass. They compete as best they can, and we've just got to make sure that we compete tomorrow night against Fleetwood, and show plenty of fight in that part of the game.